Are you one of those people who always want to help others and are always willing to lend a hand to someone in need? We congratulate you for your excellent feelings and your altruism, but we regret to tell you that there are times when not all the help in the world can change someone's situation, precisely because that someone does not want or cannot change. So before you invest your valuable time and energy in lost causes, watch this video until the end and learn to detect the warning signs that tell you that you are throwing your help away. I am going to describe 8 types of people that no one can help and who will only learn by facing the hard blows in life that they bring upon themselves. Without further ado, let's start. 1. People who believe that the world owes them something. These people show an egocentric and detached mentality from reality. The Stoics emphasized the importance of living in harmony with nature and recognizing our interdependence with others rather than seeking unjustified privileges or rewards. These types of human beings usually attract the attention of charitable souls who really want to get them out of their little fantasy world for their own good, but unfortunately they, instead of seeing it as a favor, will take it as an attack or simply cling to the idea of that simply because of their pretty face. Others have to pay homage to it if they live under the conviction that people owe them something more than a good morning. They are also characterized by being narcissistic and very easily offended. The only way in which these types of people understand that they are simple mortals like the rest of us is when the people around them refuse to be condescending to them and from receiving the same mistreatment and slights understand that their attitude has to change. 2. People who do not take responsibility. People who don't take responsibility reflect a lack of self-examination and humility, something that the Stoics would consider essential for personal and moral growth. Instead of blaming others, they should learn to take responsibility for their actions and learn from their mistakes. These people not only act without thinking, but they take the world ahead with their actions. They believe that their actions have no consequences on others, or, worse yet, they don't care. You cannot help them because they will never take responsibility for what they have done for them. If something happens because of their actions or negligence, the fault will always be the other person's, and they will find a way to convince you that they had nothing to do with it. If you think you can help these people improve themselves through humility, unfortunately you will be wasting your valuable time. Do you know what happens when they fail to achieve their goals? They fill themselves with excuses and claim that if they lost an exam it was the teacher's fault, if they were fired from their job it was their colleague's fault, and if their children go around the world flaunting the most daring rudeness it is the fault of the teachers. Grandparents, since they consented to them. Do you think it is possible to help someone who will never admit their mistakes? We advise you to desist, since they may even end up blaming you and will not be able to improve as human beings since you have not taught them well. 3. People who are stubborn about seeing the negative side of life. Individuals hell-bent on seeing only the negative side of life contrast with the Stoic focus on serenity and the ability to face challenges with resilience and gratitude for what we have. Accepting both the positive and negative aspects of life is essential for a balanced mind. It is clear that in life situations occur to us that we do not like, and there is nothing wrong with expressing our negative feelings such as anger, frustration and helplessness. However, it is quite another thing to cling only to the negative side of life and let go of all the good things that we do have. There are people who are experts in this skill, and today you will convince yourself that it is not really worth trying to help them. When someone with this characteristic tells you how badly things are going for them, your immediate and logical reaction is to try to help them, but unfortunately this individual will always have a problem for every solution you propose. When you are about to reach the 10th solution you begin to realize that this person doesn't really want to be helped, they just want to complain and get attention. It would even be disastrous for them if a fairy godmother arrived and solved all of their difficulties with a magic wand, because they would lose that tangle of problems and excuses that they like to carry around so much. These people never have enough money to make ends meet, their children are impossible, their partner is absent, and their work is frustrating. Do you think you can help a person with such an attitude? We invite you not to try it if you don't want your energy to drain like water through your hands. These types of people must be allowed to follow their path. Time will change them and they will become less negative and fatalistic. Meanwhile, focus your energy on those people who really need your advice and your help to get ahead. For advantageous people, altruism is the noblest fruit of empathy. This means that the flame that lights up in our hearts and drives us to help others is born from that beautiful capacity that we human beings have to unfold ourselves to put ourselves in each other's shoes. By experiencing life through their eyes, we are able to understand their pain, their anguish and their fears, and, as a result, we feel the need to help them to relieve that oppressed heart. Individuals in this category know this and unfortunately only seek to take advantage of it. How do we distinguish these people? Pay attention to their attitude towards life. While most of your friends only ask you for a favor when they really need it, an advantageous person will do it simply to get out of not having to do their part, and, although they can do it for themselves without bothering, they do not have the slightest empathy for the time and effort of others. The saddest and paradoxical thing about the matter is that although you probably do not feel the slightest desire to help them, you have probably already done so on more than one occasion, since they are clever enough to use victimhood to their advantage and thus making you feel like you would be the most selfish person in the universe if you refuse to do them that favor, when in reality they are the selfish ones. Therefore, you can get them out of one trouble after another, but they will never change their attitude since they are convinced that they are doing the right thing. Why put in the effort if someone else will very kindly do it for them? Our recommendation is that you help yourself by making the decision to stay far away from these guys and without feeling any guilt. 5. People with zero vision for the future. How would you feel seeing someone you love wasting their talent without you being able to do anything? These types of people are capable of getting on your nerves when you try to make them see that they are letting life go by in vain, since nothing seems to motivate them. We agree that living in the here and now is the basis of happiness. However, this does not mean that we do not project ourselves towards tomorrow. We achieve fulfillment by using innate and acquired tools to advance and improve in life. The problem with those who lack vision for the future is not their lack of talent but their lack of vision to decide how to direct it. Therefore, it is not through teaching a trade or a skill that the way to help them is found, because these people master various knowledge. The path that would lead us to help them would be to give them a little push to put this knowledge into practice in their favor. Unfortunately, their lack of desire to do something for themselves, perhaps driven by the belief that there will always be a helping hand to assist them in difficult times, will make it impossible for you to sow the seed of progress in them. 6. People incapable of seeing beyond their noses. The characteristic of these people is that they only care about what happens to them. Do the following situations sound familiar to you? You tell a friend that insecurity is increasing in the city where you both live, but he answers that it is not like that since nothing ever happened to him. Or let's take another example. You tell a friend that you are absolutely happy with your new job, but when you pause she takes control of the conversation and starts telling you that she feels horrible and bored at her job. From that moment on you lose the prominence that you had timidly begun to gain and your friend monopolizes the conversation. Now the only thing that matters is how she feels. Would you feel like helping someone who is not willing to look even an inch beyond their nose? And, if so, do you have enough faith to make them renounce that egomania that is their personal brand, and begin to see with the eyes that only genuine interest gives us? 7. People who live behind the veil of self-deception. Self-deception, characteristic of certain people, is incompatible with the Stoic emphasis on authenticity in self-knowledge. Instead of deceiving ourselves, the Stoics advocate honesty in the honest confrontation of our weaknesses in order to improve and grow. There is something really dangerous about these people, and it is that they create their own altered reality. Their perceptions are so distorted that they lead them to believe that the events are as they occur in their minds, not like the rest of the people tell them they are. In most cases there is no bad intention behind their attitude. They are simply victims of their own pathology, self-deception. Perhaps everything began a long time ago in a childhood or adolescence that was difficult to cope with. For this reason, they were forced to create an exclusive reality for themselves, in order to emotionally survive their situation. However, no matter how hard you try, you will not be able to help them with all your good disposition. You will approach them and try to convince them that the sky is not green but blue, but they will not accept it and they will tell you their reasons, all of them protected by the more obvious fallacies. Then you will show them the sky so that they can see its color. But they will find a way to justify that what they see is not reality. The only way to help them is for them to accept that they have a problem, but it is unlikely to happen without the intervention of a very experienced professional in psychology. 8. People who believe that the problem is others, not themselves. Finally, those who believe that the problem is others and not themselves, ignore the Stoic principle that we can only control our responses and attitudes to circumstances, not the circumstances themselves. Accepting responsibility for our reactions is essential for emotional well-being and personal growth. We have left the most difficult person to help on the entire list for last. How do you think you could help someone who is fully convinced that their problems with the world are precisely due to the world? Who does not identify a problem in himself, will never take a single step to improve, since he believes he has nothing to improve. Whether from his arrogance or his innocence, this person has his chip programmed so that the fault always lies with others. If he does not have many friends, it is because those around him are unfriendly or elitist. If he cannot keep his job, it is because his colleagues put obstacles in their way. If they don't pass their exams, it is because the teacher has taught poorly, and so on. The best way to help them, if you still have the desire to do so, is to let real life teach them hard lessons. Foolish people will eventually be shown who is wrong. In conclusion, from the Stoic perspective, the 8 classes of people that no one can help represent examples of behaviors and attitudes that go against the Stoic principles of wisdom, virtue, and self-discipline. The Stoics teach us to live in harmony with nature, to cultivate meaningful relationships and take responsibility for our actions, to achieve a full and meaningful life. By recognizing these attitudes and learning from them, we can move towards a more virtuous life in harmony with the universe. We have reached the end of this journey. I sincerely hope that these tips are of great use to you. If you liked this reflection, leave us a like or comment. We invite you to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to continue watching more content like this. Thanks for coming this far.